When the Lakers traded for Luka Doncic, everything changed. But what if it never happened? This is the 2024 Dallas Mavericks, a team that was able to rise above 28 other teams, a team that gained momentum throughout the year and played on the biggest stage in basketball, a team that traded their only shot at being the next great NBA Dynasty over a Fulton Lonely Blonde Ale. After falling just short of winning an NBA title, they did the unthinkable. They entered a rebuild. They threw their shot at a dynasty in the dumpster, and it may have been a generational run just ahead in their future. Most teams that come up short of reaching the top of the championship pedestal will make a tweak here and there. For some aging players, the realization that this was their last chance to win a title sets in, and they hang up their professional basketball shoes in the garage forever. For some younger players, the taste of victory lingers in their mouths as they try to climb back up. Most organizations will look to improve their second best team with the addition of a new assistant head coach, maybe a 3-and-D old veteran, maybe even a couple stadium renovations. But it's very rare when the NBA title runner-ups enter a complete rebuild. And by rebuild, I mean they traded their best player and basically their only shot at glory in the near future. Trading Luka Doncic because he drank an extra beer after a game, or because he discovered just how good a McChicken is, or because you don't think he's a reliable player, but then acquiring perhaps the most unreliable big man in the league, is career suicide. Especially when you consider there were only 3 wins away from winning an NBA title. Towards the end of the video, we'll run a simulation to see if the Luka-led Mavericks ever would win a championship. Spoiler alert, they may have won more championships in the simulated decade than your favorite team has ever won. They had a dynasty on the near horizon, and if you don't believe me, let's look into just how bad of a disaster class this trade really was. Of the 14 players on their NBA championship competing roster, only 2 of them remain on the active roster. The rest are either injured or have been traded. And the most shocking one of them all was NBA superstar Luka Doncic. There will be thousands, and I mean thousands, of YouTubers, bloggers, and writers that will write endless articles and make bottomless videos showcasing just how idiotic this move actually was. But this video will show you a different angle, a different approach, as we often try to on this channel. Dynasties are one of the most rare things in sports. It's a team that's able to climb to the top of the winner's bracket for one singular great year, and then achieve that again, and then again. Dynasties don't have a particular quota for championships, but 3 or 4 in a 10-year period cements you as a dynasty. If you want to build a dynasty, we can use the model of the most recent basketball dynasty, the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors built what proved to be a juggernaut roster in a team that could win in 3 different mini eras. We're going to talk about the Dubs for a bit, but let's not forget just how impossibly stupid it was for Nico Harrison to utter the words, "We'll give you Luka." You can't paint the Sistine Chapel without first constructing a building. The foundation must be strong enough to be able to hold thousands of visitors every single day, and building a winning NBA organization is no different. You must first start with a foundation, a player that you can categorize as the best in the league, or could be in the conversation for the best in the league. Enter Wardell Stephen Curry, the chef, the human torch, the baby-faced assassin, the golden boy, the bringer of night-nights. The MVP of the league in 2014 and 2015, and the unanimous MVP in 2015-2016. The most perfect player to build your organization around. He's unbelievably special on the court and just as special off the court too. Guys like this don't come around often, so let's head to the other side of the West region and see if they had a guy like this. Oh my god. Now I'm not saying that Luka will ever be as good as Steph Curry, and I'm definitely not saying he will ever win as much as Steph either. But it's hard to argue that Luka isn't the best scorer in the NBA, or at least in the conversation for the best player in the league. This is what franchises like the Charlotte Hornets and the Toronto Raptors have been dreaming about. Finding a guy like Luka, the foundation for a great organization no matter how many beers he drinks after a game. You must also have unbelievable support for that foundation. Once you find the diamond in the rough, you have to back them up with incredible teammates that can help support them in every way they can on the court. Klay and Draymond fit this profile to a T. And while they had Kevin Durant for an unbelievably successful short stint, Klay and Draymond were there for all 4 titles. Klay was the ultimate wingman, with a heat check that rivaled Steph at times, and the ability to guard the opponent's teams 1 or 2 effectively, so Steph didn't have to. And Draymond was the heart of the team, playing physical basketball, mean mugging, even choking players that threatened his teammates. He also might be the greatest defender of this era, and again provided incredible support for Steph and the Dubs. The Mavericks had this, which is the shocking part. Kyrie Irving is one of the most talented players to ever step foot on a basketball court. His handles, shooting, playmaking, passing, finishing are all at Hall of Fame levels, which make him an incredible wingman and a teammate for Luka Doncic. In fact, I distinctly remember going to get a haircut at Sports Clips the day after the Mavericks won the Western Conference Finals, and every broadcaster and sports talking head was debating on if this was the most talented backcourt in NBA history. Look how far we've come in just a quick 9 months. PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford are an excellent 1-2 defensive punch inside and outside. Gafford is a reliable interior defender known for his excellent rim protection and rebounding, while PJ gives the Mavs a lengthy, quick outside guy who can guard the 2 through 4 positions. This is the Mavs version of Andre Iguodala and Andrew Bogut. While Iguodala and Bogut are both very special players, they both had a very specific skill set that allowed the Warriors to flourish to their first title in 40 years. While Jason Kidd isn't as good of a coach as Steve Kerr, he's still a good head coach who has room to improve and grow with the team, and I forgot, the team isn't growing. They traded away their best player. But seriously, the jury is still out on if Jason Kidd will ever coach an NBA team to an NBA title. But he did make it to the finals with the 2023-2024 Mavericks, and that is with the team that had only played together for 29 regular season games. 29 games! If a coach can help a team that has been together for 29 games get to the NBA Finals after beating the 4-seed Clippers, the 1-seed Thunder, and the 3-seed Timberwolves, then that's a guy I would want to coach my team. It took Steph 6 NBA seasons to win his first NBA championship, but imagine if the Warriors had done the impossible. I don't even really want to talk about this hypothetical situation, as it makes being a Warriors fan incredibly grim, but imagine if the Warriors had done the unthinkable and traded their blossoming superstar Stephen Curry after the team had just lost the first round of the playoffs to the Los Angeles Clippers in the 2014 Western Conference first round. Imagine if Steph didn't go absolutely nuclear for the Dubs the following year and bring the first NBA title since 1975 to the Bay on the back of his first MVP season. Imagine if the Warriors never went deep in the playoffs the next year. The stars like Draymond and Klay become disgruntled after Curry was traded and leave to sign with a new team in free agency. Imagine if Kevin Durant never signed with the Warriors. Where would he have gone? Would LeBron have 6 NBA rings? The entire landscape of basketball is changed with this hypothetical, and that's the absolute atomic-sized bomb the Mavericks have just dropped on the NBA this past trade deadline. Instead of giving your team only a 29-game leash, you could have added a free agent or two that fits your team and continue building on what you were building. Someone like Isaiah Hartenstein or Tobias Harris. You could have trusted Luka Doncic to have his eventual MVP caliber season and lead you to as far as he can take you. You could have trusted the support system you built around him in Kyrie, Gafford, PJ, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Derrick Jones Jr. Instead, you traded for an aging, oft-injured Anthony Davis. I'm not saying the Mavericks would have won 4 titles with Luka and company, but it was certainly under the realm of possibility. I'm not saying that Luka will ever be in the same conversation as Steph Curry. I wanted to run a realistic simulation that would show just how close the Mavericks were to a dynastic run with their 2023-2024 roster, and I used ChatGPT to help me find out the results. I wrote a ChatGPT prompt that said, simulate the next 10 NBA seasons and their postseasons to find out who would win the NBA championship in those 10 years. Run the simulation assuming the following assumptions. There are no major superstars trades amongst the teams. Older players will start to regress the older they get and closer to retirement. The younger players that are considered above average or better will continue to grow and get better. Assume the Dallas Mavericks are led by a roster that includes Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, and Derek Lively as the starting 5 with Derrick Jones Jr. coming off the bench as the depth. Assume the star players retire by the time they hit 39 years old to avoid overstating the impact of old superstars. The results were shocking. The results heavily favored the Mavericks, giving them 4 NBA championships in a 10-year span. The Bucks, Celtics, Nuggets, Warriors, Heat, and Suns each win 1 in the other 6 seasons. Did the Mavericks actually throw away a possible dynasty because their star player likes to drink a Fulton Lonely Blonde Ale after beating the Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals? While we can never truly know if the Mavericks would have gotten to the top with Luka, we can do our best to run predicative simulations to figure out if that would be in the realm of possibility. While NBA franchises dream about having the opportunity to build what you are beginning to build, it's almost statistically impossible finding a lot of puzzle pieces that you were able to find. And yet for some reason that will never make sense to me and a lot of fans, Luka Doncic is a Laker. And he will win an NBA title with the Los Angeles Lakers before he leaves California. It might not be this year, and it might not be next year, or the year after that. But you can best believe Luka Doncic has NBA championship caliber DNA, and it's only a matter of time before he proves the Mavericks wrong.